this is now the time for our story. But before we do that, I'd like to invite you to raise your hands with me and together let us do this finger play. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1, go! Open, shut them. Open, shut them. Give a little clap. Open, shut them. Open, shut them. Fold them on your lap. Listen now. Our story for today is about Swami and the crocodile. Swami was one of the brightest boys at the mission school. Although like some of other boys I know, he was brighter at play than at work. He had been attending the school for 2 or 3 years now. But though many of the boys had given their hearts to Jesus, Swami had not. He always wanted to have a good time and refused to give up some of the old bad habits he had brought with him. Sometimes, the people in charge of the mission had thought of sending Swami home. But again and again, he had forgiven him and let him stay on. Someday, they hoped something might happen that would lead Swami to love the Lord. Despite all his naughty ways, the other boys liked him. You know why? Because he was such a good swimmer. In any sort of race, he could leave them all behind, and this made him quite popular. One afternoon, Swami and the other boys stood up on the bank of the big wide river. One of the boys dared Swami to swim across the other side and back again. No one had ever done it before. It was against the rules because of the current and the crocodiles. The boys were supposed to stay in their own safe pool. But you know, these boys are looking for some new excitement. When the boys saw that Swami is a bit hesitant to do it, they started to tease him, telling him that he couldn't do it. When they saw that Swami did not go, they taunted him at once. So Swami started to slip into the river. One of the boys said, "Mind the crocodiles." But Swami responded, "Do not worry about the crocodiles. I swim faster than them." So he was off. With powerful strokes, he worked up against the current until he reached the middle. The other boys from the shore are holding their breath at their daring feat. But because Swami is a good swimmer, he managed to reach the other side of the river. Seeing Swami started walking from the other side of the river, other boys have clapped their hands and cheering for him. For a while, Swami sat on the bank getting his breath for the return trip. After a while, he started to enter the water and began the long swing back. But suddenly, one of the boys had noticed a long, low shape moving toward him. It was like a floating tree trunk. But they realized that it was a crocodile. "Crocodile! Crocodile!" They shouted and cried out. "Look at Swami! There's a crocodile behind you!" They cried out loud. Then Swami heard the warning and As he looked around, he saw the crocodile behind him. And the crocodile is going toward him. With a great burst of speed, he pulled ahead, but no boy. Gradually, the distance narrowed. The crocodile got nearer, nearer, and nearer. Suddenly, there was a splash, a snap, and poor Swami with wild cries of fear and sorrow. The boys rushed back to the mission. When the mission director heard the story, he ordered the search parties out at once. Meanwhile, Swami was dragged by the crocodile under the water, lost consciousness. Then, in a narrow inlet hidden by bushes, the crocodile covered him with the mud and sticks and stones. Fortunately, leaving his head free and above the water, by and by, Swami got back his consciousness. With fear and his heart, one particular thing that he remembered is to call upon Jesus. This is what we taught to him, to them from the mission school. He said to Jesus to save him, and he promised to Jesus that he will change his ways and he will make his devoted to him. Suddenly, he heard a sound of feet, and then he moves his head to check. He saw the group of the search parties looking for him. Quickly, he was taken out from the place and rushed to the mission hospital. Today, when you visit this mission school in the heart of Africa, you would meet Swami there, who is now one of the finest Christians living in his life with God. Children, the story is reminding us to always be obedient to our mommies and daddies, and to all elderly, and to our leaders. Especially to be obedient to Jesus. According to the book of Hebrews 13 verse 17, obey your leaders and submit to their authorities. This is the end of the story. Bye!